Capricorn, welcome to your mid-March to mid-April reading. All right. The White Rabbit is what your reading is called. We'll get into that in a second. So first and foremost, you're ready to take some risks. You're back to that point in your life where going places and meeting people and seeing people feels good. Something that's complicated, something that just is taking up too much energy, it stops working. That connection is cut. You want it to be cut. You want it to end. Now, at the very end of March, we have this, from the 20th to the 24th, in a few days here, we have a Mars-Venus-Uranus square. And to you, this may feel like love at first sight. It may feel like someone has walked into your life that you can see success with, you can see growth with. You feel like they're very clear-headed. You feel like they're, well, they just check all the boxes. And they seem to be financially not doing too bad either. And that's one of the big boxes, and they're checking that one too. So that's great. And you have been very, very selective, and you continue to be very selective. But this new sort of lucky, let's work together, let's do stuff together, let's have a sexual relationship, whatever it is, it's swirling all around you, right? And you have this flash of a good idea. At first, you may not see it. At first, you may not realize it's such a good idea. It may go right over your head, and then you're like, wait a minute. No, I was thinking about something incredible. And then that idea comes back to you, and it's something that's huge and can change your life. It can put you squarely on the path to a lot of money. So whatever that idea is, it's really important to be open and, just have an open mind about meeting people and listening to people and kind of even just listening to yourself, letting yourself explore, letting yourself daydream a little bit somewhere in there. From about the 20th of March to the 19th of April, there is a great idea. And when you hit on it, boom, you'll just be able to run with it. Now, in April, interestingly, you are revisiting this question of, do I want to be an employee or do I want to be a business owner? So these two things, taking into account that that's how you'll feel in middle of April, what's happening now at the end of March becomes really important, right? Okay, so there's that. Now let's move on. Whatever you end up doing, whether it's you're spending money or starting something new, or you're, trying to get through a family situation without losing it, whatever you are doing, do it without being petty, do it without being aggressive. Because that's what you're going to want to do. Especially when it comes to your financials, okay? But what April is about for you is financial maturity. And that journey starts at the end of March. But at the end of March, you're quite aggressive about it. You're not quite there yet. You're like, emotional maturity, this, don't talk to me about that. I want this money. Now, the unfortunate thing is that you can't really rely on your friends right now. Whatever you're going to do it yourself, says the Eight of Pentacles. Whatever direction you're going to take it yourself, says the Ten of Wands. Yeah, your friends are great. Your friends are great. But sometimes, they're asking you to jump off a cliff with them. And that's not you. Or more appropriately, it's not who you are anymore. So for these last few days of March, don't listen to your friends. They love you and they have the best intentions, but right now they don't really know what's going on. You do. You're actually surprisingly clear-headed considering the season that we're having. Now, on April 1st, we have this new moon. On the 16th of April, we have the full moon. And then the 30th of April, we have a solar eclipse in Taurus. This is all relationship stuff for you. You know things need to change. That Ace of Swords is like, I don't care if it's a good beginning or a bad beginning. Just make it a new beginning. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I just want it to be new. By the 30th, by April 30th, it's very possible that that solar eclipse brings about an ending of something that you thought would never end. Or people around you thought would never end, but you knew better. There is a lot of sexual energy in April, especially as we move into that bull energy. There's a lot of being together, living together, you know, either we're breaking up or we're cheating or we're reconnecting, but it's all very sexual. It's all about connecting and relating and words, and use your words and say how you feel. You want to be a part of something bigger. You want to feel taken care of. You want to feel part of a team that's an equal. You want to feel like your situations are mutually beneficial. We've been here before, though. Haven't we? I think the difference is now, Capricorn, you're going to have to decide if you want to be a rogue. Do you want to go rogue? Or do you want to be a cog in the machine? Up to you. The Jupiter-Neptune conjunction is going to try to push you towards going rogue. And it's also going to push you to want to be swept off your feet, which is unfair because I've already said you have to be really careful and very discerning with who you meet right now. You're open to new things and it's wonderful and it's, we love it. But you also have to be careful that you don't allow yourself to be deceived. There's a lot of deception here in the cards, but also in your astrology. If we were reading this like a story, it seems as if you're still in some way emotionally recovering from a time where you thought you were going to win and you didn't. Now, whether that's a decade ago or a few months ago, I don't know. But something happens to you around the new moon in April, and you start to understand that with all this financial good fortune coming your way and all this confidence you have stored up, that's a good idea. Right? It's a good idea to do something different, to start something new, to find a new path, to meet a new person, to start a new relationship. But just make sure that when you do it, you keep one foot on the ground. Well, that's not really being in love, and that's not really being committed. Well, maybe we need to talk about what your definition of commitment is. Because on one hand, you can say that, and on the other hand, sometimes that self-same definition of commitment makes you feel so constrained and trapped that you do very non-committed things. Right? So we want to keep one foot on the ground. We want to make sure that regardless of if the opportunity is financial or romantic, we're not getting swept away with the tide. And that we keep what we want central. Now, it's really tempting when we meet someone, when we think it's love at first sight, to just throw ourselves away. Our likes and dislikes, they all become pretty arbitrary, don't they? Because we finally met someone we like. But in this scenario, you're as bad as your friends. They're giving you bad advice and you're giving yourself bad advice. This is not the way. This is not going to help. Right? The trick is to follow your gut. Let it lead you into situations that may seem a little bit trying and anxious. Don't lose your cool. Don't freak out. Follow that inspiration, that gut feeling, wherever it takes you, like Alice follows the white rabbit, until you get to your very, very good idea. But once you have it, respect it. that good idea is worth its weight in gold, right? Worth your weight in gold. And it's also the door to an emotional and financial maturity that you haven't had before. You've really grown up a lot, especially when it comes to money. And now you get a chance to be tested on that. You have the good fortune. You have the good luck to be tested. And hopefully to be found adequate. Now, the eclipses make a lot of things end. And it wouldn't be surprising if something that you thought was going in the other direction, something that perhaps is with someone reclusive, something that you thought you were filling in the gaps on your own, and you thought it was something that it wasn't. And for those of you who are in that particular predicament, I'm really sorry. Because it's a terrible place to find yourself when you realize that what you are putting in is nowhere near the same as what you're giving out. It's not even the quantity or the quality. It's just not even the same thing. But it's funny because you have all these painful moments and realizations, but you have these great transits. So every one of these potentially terrible things, it gets turned into this wonderful, teachable moment, wonderful practice in patience. And so something that if it would have been rushed financially, especially like this good idea, or you coming across a big investor or whatever it is, a new job offer, the best part is with you just not trying so hard and just pulling back your energy, the thing ends up happening and you're not forcing it. That's also a big theme for you. Throughout April, you're not forcing it. You're allowing, right? Follow the idea. Let the rabbit lead you. You're allowing. You're keeping yourself open. You're not judging people when they first come up to you. You're not judging people when you first find out what they do for a living. You're not judging people and how they're dressed. You're not judging their ideas on how they're dressed. You're not judging yourself on how you may look moment to moment. This thing is very freeing. This thing is very freeing. And you deserve it. But there is this weight over you. And it's like it never leaves. And it's this weight that you use to justify everything that happens, that you do, that you compromise yourself to do. You justify it with this weight. Well, I have to do that even though I don't want to. Well, I have to do it this way because there's no other way to do it. Well, why is there no other way to do it? Because you've decided there's no other way to do it. Because you've decided to take on this pressure. And then that pressure becomes an excuse for you to be able to do a lot of really unpleasant things to yourself. Namely, just pushing yourself too hard. When you start to feel like this, it's easy for you to spend money too. Money starts to look like something therapeutic. And that would be a really big mistake right now. Money can't be your therapy. Spending money can't be your therapy. I know that often when making money is the only thing that one does, spending money becomes the only habit one has. Because if all you do is work, and nobody tells you this until it's too late, but if all you do is work, that's all you got. but learning how to have emotional strictness with yourself and discipline, and not spend out of fear or anxiety or insecurity. That's a game changer. Right? And that's the game changer, and that maturity, financial maturity complex that you're walking into. That's it. All of this is leading you there. It's almost as if someone is the rabbit taking you on this journey. It's like, we got to think bigger. We got to think more long term. We can't keep doing this. And funnily enough, that's right up your alley. You're not at all weirded out by this or insecure about this. This is the type of shit that you wish people would do. So it's quite perfect. But it is a bit lonely right now for you, because so many people don't understand what's really going on. So many people are so confused as to what the truth is, and that's pretty accurate for Pisces season. And in the middle of this is your very, very, very seductive, very engaging energy. So while the world seems to be falling apart a little bit, you're there, just being and holding that gravity, holding us all with our feet on the ground. So for you to become more emotionally mature or more financially literate is a life changer. Because anything that you think right now is a character flaw, which I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't think you have any character flaws. And you know what? I back you. You don't have any character flaws. Fuck these people out here. But it would be a time, if there were any, this is the perfect time to get rid of them. Once you're emotionally mature about your money, honestly, I don't see how anyone can stop you. But the stress reaction and the ensuing binge spending, that's just your wounds talking. Those unaddressed wounds that keep oozing pus and blood because no one's paying attention to them. That's all that is. So, what I would do is I would look forward to this solar eclipse on the 30th of April and make a list of things that need to change. You don't have to show it to anyone. You don't have to do anything with it. That's what sometimes people don't get. You don't need to write something on a piece of paper and roll it up and burn it. The writing of it is the spell, right? So, be smart. Don't get swept up in a wave of emotion and throw your heart at somebody who doesn't deserve it. We don't even know who they are yet. Don't spend your money because you're worried or anxious or scared. And whatever you do, do not listen to your idiotic friends. They may be very, very smart on the regular, but right now they are very dumb. There's a lot more I could say, but I'm not going to. So, Capricorn, there it is. Your April here is reflected towards the end of the reading. It's very strong. The Three of Pentacles is someone who belongs. So in this case, someone who has been taken in. Yeah. You find your strange niche within larger groups. like a subset. And you're able to shine in that environment. You're able to come into your own. You know those moments where you feel the most like yourself? It's usually when your makeup or something is perfect randomly on a Tuesday afternoon or something. And you're just like, wow, I'm amazing. It's like that. Good? All right, I'll be back with April soon. I'll see you in the extended right now. Love you.